why I had to call the police on my own dad. Growing up, my parents were the kind of couple that made love look easy. For 30 years, my dad brought my mom coffee every morning. She'd laugh at his bad jokes, and they just worked. Like a perfectly mismatched sitcom. Mom used to joke that dad had a bad temper before they met, but she was the one who tamed him. Still, he had his moments. He wasn't home much. He worked double shifts to give us everything, but he was the kind of man who'd fight a bear for his family. When my mom died of cancer last spring, her funeral was packed, so full that people were standing outside the church. She was that kind of person, kind, generous, almost saint-like. Afterward, I moved back into my childhood home. I couldn't bear to leave my dad alone in that empty house, and truthfully, I needed the comfort too. 3 weeks later, while dad was at work, two strangers broke into our home. They tied me up like some cruel prank gone wrong, blindfolded me, and tore the place apart. The worst part? They stole my mom's wedding ring. When dad came home and found me crying on the kitchen floor, something inside him broke. His grief twisted into rage, the kind of rage you can't reason with. The cops came, wrote their report, and left like it was just another day. But dad? He couldn't let it go. He started pacing the house, whispering to himself about protecting me, about never letting anyone hurt us again. His hands shook constantly. When he brought up starting a neighborhood watch, I agreed. I figured this was a healthy way for him to process things, and I honestly felt better knowing he was doing something instead of just sitting in mom's empty chair. At first, it was almost inspiring. He led neighborhood meetings, installed security cameras like we were guarding a fortress, and carried pepper spray. He even kept crime logs, detailed, color-coded, obsessively neat. Our neighbors thought he was a hero. I thought maybe he was healing. But the look in his eyes when he showed me those crime logs. I should have known something was off. He wasn't healing. He was hunting. Soon, his patrols turned into stakeouts. He started tailing people he suspected, snapping photos of teenagers outside convenience stores, confronting random people on the sidewalk. The notebooks multiplied. When I gently suggested he might be taking things too far, he snapped. "You don't understand," he shouted. "I won't let anyone hurt you again." His eyes were wild, and for the first time, I felt afraid of him. Things escalated fast. His best friend of 20 years stopped by, and they got into a shouting match because dad accused him of not caring about community safety. As his friend left, he pulled me aside and said, "He's going to get worse. You should get help. Soon." I brushed it off. I thought I had time. I was wrong. The baseball bat showed up next. He started stopping delivery drivers, asking weird questions, tracking people's comings and goings like a one-man FBI. I watched my father turn into a stranger, but I told myself it was grief. I told myself he'd come back to me. Last Tuesday proved me dead wrong. I came home from work and found him in the kitchen, hands trembling, scrubbing blood out of his clothes like he was trying to wash away guilt. I froze. I wasn't this scared when I was tied up by robbers. I was more afraid now. "I protected us," he kept saying. "I protected you. I didn't protect your mom, but I protected you." Then he told me. He'd been following someone he thought was a drug dealer. That night, he confronted the guy in a parking lot and beat him unconscious with a baseball bat. Only afterward did he realize the dealer was just a teenager. A kid. Someone's son. And my father might have killed him. I called 911. And as the phone rang, I almost confessed. Almost told them to come get me too, for not stopping this sooner. When the police arrived, dad didn't resist. He was ranting about citizens' arrests and how no one else was doing their job. I just stood there, numb, listening to him fall apart. The cops found his notebooks. They weren't just logs. They were pages and pages of paranoid thoughts. He'd been watching the entire neighborhood, convinced everyone was dangerous. He built a fantasy, one where he was the last line of defense. As they put him in the police car, he looked back at me with those same warm, fatherly eyes I'd grown up with. "I did this for you, sweetheart," he said. "I just wanted you to be safe." But all I could think was, I should have seen this coming. Now he's in a psychiatric facility.